Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today we have Wellness Recovery North on the show with us today. We have two of the staff, Jill and Star, and they're going to talk about what they do at the Wellness Recovery North and talk about wellness and recovery in regards to consumer. Stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for being on our show today.
Thanks for having us.
And definitely a big thanks to you because I know you was busy and I'm like, oh, I hope she comes. So thank you so much, and you as well.
Thank you.
So let's start off with you guys introducing yourself and talk a little bit about what you do there. And I want you guys to to let us know how and why you got into this particular field.
Okay. Well, my name is Star Cannon. Again, thanks for having us here. I've been with the Wellness and Recovery Center North for just about a year. I've worked in the industry either working with folks with mental health challenges or with substance abuse challenges for 22 years now. Oh. It was always on the treatment side of things, and I really didn't know that there's this middle ground for people with mental health challenges, that medication or hospitalization is not always the answer.
Exactly.
There is this middle ground where people can get that support. So that draws me because it's different than what I'm used to doing. I've been in this helping industry for so long, but this is a different way to help people.
Yeah.
It's really, truly person-centered and meeting people where they're at. And that speaks to me.
Nice. What do you actually do in your current role at Wellness Recovery North?
I'm what's called a wellness mentor lead.
Nice.
So there's a staff of wellness mentors that have lived experience, that can provide that peer-to-peer support to its members. We call them members rather than clients or patients.
Okay.
They're members. And being able to meet them where they're at is really important. And then also being a lead helps the staff to kind of sometimes diffuse sometimes challenging situations, sometimes giving them just a little bit more of a pointing in the right direction, providing them some feedback on some of the work that they're doing with our members. Sometimes helping with some of the operations of the center as well is what my job entails.
Okay. What about you, Jill?
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Jill McDonald. I am what is called a peer guide, which is a volunteer. I've been volunteering for about a year. And the thing that drew me to it, I am also a member, and I just really wanted to do more. I've always wanted to volunteer, and this was the right place and the right time for me to volunteer, definitely. And basically what I do is I keep the place clean.
Nice.
So I make sure the bathrooms are clean. I make sure the kitchen area is clean, and then I also talk with the members.
Nice.
So it's basically what I do.
Okay. I think I like both of you guys' introduction, by the way, and I want to kind of piggyback to what you said about being a lead and having lived experience. I know many years ago, I went through a training and they talked about the importance of having someone with lived experience in a leadership role. Because what that does is that give other people that may have lived experience that's not in a leadership role, that gives them hope, confidence, and something to look forward to and know that they can also climb that ladder and be in a leadership role. And that's important to have someone there that can relate and understand people that have lived experience opposed to someone who do not have lived experience.
I've been asked that question probably a million times over the years.
Okay.
What makes a good counselor? What makes a good peer? You know,
Yeah.
do you have to go through the same things that this person went through? I don't think it's an easy answer.
Right, right.
But when you have someone who has their own lived experience, you now get to share a connection that wouldn't be there otherwise.
Exactly.
And you're absolutely right. For someone who has those mental health challenges, thinking they could ever be in some type of leadership or management
Exactly.
Type of role just seems way out of sight for them.
Exactly.
You know, I'm a firm believer people can change. I'm an example of that.
That's exactly right.
And it's all about your motivation. It's about your goals. It's getting there. It's having those good mentors along the way. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's again, it's peer to peer.
Exactly.
And if I am in a peer role, then I'm leading by example.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I like that how you guys use the terminology. What did you say? Client.
Member.
Instead of client or patient, correct?
Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I think what different agency has different terminologies to describe
Right.
people lived experience.
Right.
So I like that a lot. I worked for an agency a while back, and their terminology was employer.
Really?
Yeah. But it was an agency where they provide services to people that have developmentally disabilities, and these particular employers lived in their own home, and we had hired staff to go out there and be their caregivers. But they called them employers because they said
Interesting.
if they was not here, we wouldn't be employed. So they are our employers.
Right.
So that was quite interesting to me.
Words are powerful.
Very, very powerful.
Titles are powerful.
Very powerful.
When you start saying things like consumer and patient,
Yeah.
there's a stigma attached to that.
Yes.
And if you're trying to promote wellness, it has to start with empowerment.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to walk through that door?
Yeah.
And if you are, how are you going to be treated?
Yeah.
And I think it starts with that first thing by calling them members.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, Jill, what motivated you to volunteer? Because I think for me, that's a very powerful expression of what you as an individual believe in as far as this type of work is concerned.
Well, I really, let's see. I really believe in volunteerism, and I really wanted to do this work with my peers and assist with my peers.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I'm working my way up. I'm hoping to get an internship and then become a mentor at some point.
Nice.
So yes, they do go promote from within, definitely. Yeah. So, but I just really wanted to volunteer, and I found this place, and it's perfect for me.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah. What I found with volunteering is, a person can be empowered when they volunteer. They can, if they don't already have, they can gain job skills or additional job skills. And it's really beneficial to, in my opinion, for a person to stay well and live in recovery.
Yeah, it definitely adds to my wellness.
Yeah.
Absolutely, volunteering adds to my wellness.
Yeah, so
yes.
I definitely commend you on that. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Wellness Recovery North. So what type of service do you guys offer to Sacramento County?
Well, Wellness and Recovery North, just like Wellness and Recovery South, are part of consumers' self-help. Okay. There's also another part that we do, which is patient rights.
Okay, nice.
So we have advocates that assist folks that sometimes when it comes to medical and legal matters need additional assistance to advocate and navigate for them.
Okay.
Sometimes those situations can be difficult. But as far as the wellness centers are concerned, the great thing is this is not about diagnosis and insurance.
Yes.
We don't ask for either.
Yeah.
We're funded through the county, or we're funded through federal grants or mental health funds. So that's like one thing right there that takes some stigma out.
Exactly.
This has nothing to do with what socioeconomic place you are, what type of insurance you have, how much money do you make. It's just purely you're seeking wellness, so you're welcome.
Nice.
Folks walk through the door. They are given a tour first before they're handed paperwork.
Okay.
That's one of the things that we thought was really important was let someone be a bit oriented in the environment they're about to participate in, instead of going, let's sit down and fill out more paperwork.
Yeah.
So our peer guides do a lot of the tours for us, and then mentors will sit down with that new member and just discuss maybe any goals they may have, or maybe they don't have any goals yet.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just there to just get out of the house.
Yeah.
So we do provide that socialization. We have a really large lounge where folks can sit and play different board games, or sit and just chat with mentors or peer guides, or chat with each other.
Wow.
But then we have our groups.
Okay.
We offer over 35 groups a week.
Wow.
Over 35 groups a week.
Nice.
So at Wellness and Recovery North, Monday through Friday, we're open at 9 a.m. and we're open till 8:45 p.m. So we're speaking to another group of our population of folks, and there's some folks that are still challenged with mental health, but they might have full-time jobs.
Right, exactly.
Where can they go to get that wellness? So many
Yeah.
places close at 5 or 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So being open in the evening has just been able to be available for folks that sometimes would not even receive these services.
Yeah.
Our groups consist of, they're self-help groups, they are process groups, they're skill-based groups, everything to assist folks with managing bipolar, depression, anxiety. And then we have really great inspiring groups, overcoming addiction.
Yes.
What is love?
Yeah.
Relationship skills, the power of connection, making those good, healthy connections. There's not a group that we offer that you wouldn't walk away with something, regardless of who you are and why you're there.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things I say to members is, go to as many different groups as you choose, and then you'll get to know more of the mentors, because all the mentors are the ones that facilitate the groups. So then they get familiar with the different groups and the different mentors. Eventually then they'll reach out, and maybe they want to talk individually, more privately with a mentor. So we do individual peer-to-peer support as well as those groups.
Yeah.
We do different activities throughout the month. One of the things we always do, it's usually the fourth Thursday of the month, and again, this is for Wellness and Recovery North, we do our member celebration, where it's an opportunity where members can come and we all commune and we have a meal together, but we have an opportunity to share some success stories.
Yeah.
Even if they're small little success stories.
Yeah.
Like I got out of bed and made it to the wellness center today. That could be a huge accomplishment for somebody, or someone, I finally found gainful employment.
Yeah.
So we have a plethora of people that are in different places in their wellness.
Yeah.
And we meet them where they're at.
Yeah. You guys do a lot over there. I'm serious. I had no idea all that was going on. I do love the fact that you guys have after hours groups for people that may need that support, because even being at work sometimes during the day can be very stressful.
Right.
And so for you guys to have a space to offer some type of support after hours, for me, is huge for people that really need that assistance, And even as you was talking, in my mind, I was kind of thinking of a few people that I know that would be interested in that after hours services. So I commend you guys for that. I also like the fact that you guys celebrate your members. That is huge, because some people they need that they need that recognition. They want to feel appreciated, so to speak, in whatever progress they may be making. You know what I'm saying? So for some people, that goes a very, very, very long way. I have several of my family members who has mental health diagnoses, and one of them is my youngest brother. And I'm so grateful that I'm in the field and understand things, because, and I've shared this before in this program, my mom and I had talked about this before, and she knew, she should have got my brother some help, but she didn't because of stigma. The first thing came out of her mouth, well, I was thinking about what my friends was gonna say.
Everyone's gonna know.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, who cares? I mean, respectfully, I kind of had to educate her, but I had to talk to him because he was incarcerated, and he was having a lot of issues going on. And I had to talk to him, and I said, look, forget what everybody else thinks. Forget what people think or say. Go and see somebody while you're there and get the help that you need. And he got the help that he need, and he's doing a lot better.
Good.
A whole lot better now. But before that, he was just, he had things was going on that was out of our hands as families. I wasn't there. My parents and whatever, they didn't have the education and the skills and all that stuff, and it was a mess. But he is doing really, really well now. So thank you guys for having that available for the community.
It's frightening for families, and it keeps that stigma strong because of the lack of information and education that's out there for the general public.
Yeah.
I think when people hear the word and the words mental health, they go to kind of worst case scenario. They're thinking insane asylums and things that you see on the movies.
Yes.
And
yes.
mental health means so many different things. And
I'm getting excited.
And I dare to meet someone who's not been touched, if not personally, secondhand touched by the challenges of mental health.
Yeah.
So it's just very strange that we all actually share this common thread, yet we'll still judge each other for it.
Exactly.
So it's a fight that continues to be fought.
Yeah.
I think shows like this and giving opportunity for programs like this to share what we do will hopefully speak to those families and let them know that it's not as scary as the movies sometimes make it out to be, or what your friends down the street say mental health is.
Exactly. I have my own terminology and outlook on mental health, because even if a person is not quote unquote diagnosed, I think that for me, this is just my own definition. I think that anybody that mentally is challenged, or their mood or mental health is altered,
Which is everybody.
Every single body.
Everyone's been stressed. Everyone has grieved.
Been depressed.
Everyone's been depressed.
Some form of anxiety, all of that. So nobody can judge nobody. And it's sad because there are people who need help, need services, and they will not come forth because the stigma, or they're afraid of what is my family going to think, or what are my friends going to think. And they live in the shadows of not doing as well as they can do because of the stigma.
Well, this is a great kind of bridge, or I don't know, maybe first door they can walk through.
Yeah.
Because on the wellness side, because we do have a clinical side.
Yeah.
And I'll speak to that as well. But on the wellness side, because we don't ask about diagnosis, we're not asking assessment questions, because it's not about that. We're not asking assessment questions. That right there provides a different comfortability for the individual, rather than when they walk into an actual clinic. Because when they're walking into a clinic, someone's giving them a label, they're living with that label, and then all the stigma that comes with it. When they're just coming to the wellness center, it doesn't matter if you were diagnosed or you weren't diagnosed.
Exactly.
Or how long you've been diagnosed.
Yeah.
On the clinical side, which are services that we provide as well, they're low intensive outpatient services. There is medication management, access to a psychiatrist, and rehabilitation mentors, which do case management and provide that support for those that may have to take medication.
Yeah.
But for consumer self-help to offer all these different facets for somebody, it's such a great thing to see the successes and the changes in people when they finally get past and through that door.
Exactly.
And find a comfortable place to start speaking and standing up for themselves, because that's a huge part of the stigma too, is, well, I have a mental health issue, so I don't have a voice.
Yeah.
And they have they can have some of the biggest voices.
Yes, exactly.
We just have to empower them.
Exactly.
And that's definitely where we come from, is empowering people to do that self-advocacy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, and I want to ask both of you guys this, pose this question to both of you guys. Why is it important for advocacy to be a part of our work in the mental health field and what we do?
I'm going to let Jill start with that.
Okay, the advocacy is important because we need to stand up for each other, first of all, not just one person, but for each other. and that helps to guide people to a better place. And also advocating, it helps people with maybe paperwork, or trying to get in to see a doctor, or there's many things that we advocate for and with. I guess that's it.
Yeah. Well, what about self-advocacy? Why is it important that we, as a community, why is it important that we advocate for ourselves?
It's important because we need to do that for ourselves, because you have to get your own way. You have to make your own way.
Yeah.
And it's important for you to get up and do things for yourself. It also helps with your self-esteem.
Yes.
With your feeling of power and empowerment. So it's important to be your self-advocate.
Yes, exactly. I learned that, that I'm an expert on myself. I went to the doctor many years ago. And when I went, he was trying to diagnose me with something that I know for a fact was not true. I literally was in this doctor's office like 15 or 20 minutes going back and forth with him about what was going on with my body. I knew he was wrong. So finally I succumbed to what he wanted. He said, Jesse, get the blood test, blah, 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 blah. So when I got the blood test, whatever, so we scheduled another appointment to go back and see him. And I was very adamant. I was a little bit disappointed, but I had to understand where he was coming from too, because this is what he was trying to do by what he felt the symptoms was. But I did tell him, I said, in the future you should really listen to some of what your patients are trying to express to you concerning their body. I know a lot of people that come in here may not be as open and honest about what's going on with them. But for me, I just knew this was not the issue. So I had to educate him on that. Some of us are expert on ourselves, and I had to advocate for what I needed. So I'm saying, after the blood test came back. So and that is important even in the work that we're doing.
Absolutely. I was just speaking with a member, I think it was yesterday. No, it must have been last Friday. And she's been told time after time, you have this, you're diagnosed with this. You need medication, and she's convinced.
Wow, yeah.
That she has to be on medication. And I looked at her square in the face and I said, no, you don't. And she looked at me confused. Well, what do you mean? I said, you have a choice.
Exactly.
Unless you have found yourself in some legal situation where, you're unable to care for yourself. But if you're able to care for yourself, you're able to advocate for yourself.
That's exactly right.
And when I told her, you have a choice, I had to say it a few times, and her face changed, and she actually started to cry because no one had ever said that to her before.
Yeah.
And she even said, I feel so extraordinarily empowered because no one's ever told me I have that choice.
Yeah.
And I said, you do. You absolutely have that choice. You are the expert.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And it's important. It's so important. I'm one of those people who I want to empower people to have a voice for themselves.
Yeah. And we all clam up when we get into the doctor's office.
Yeah, some of us, yes.
Because we think, this guy's got letters after his name and frames on the wall, and it's really intimidating, and you clam up and you don't want to ask the questions. So again, that can be another facet that someone can reach out to consumer self-help for that patient rights if they need that kind of help, if they feel like things are being forced upon them, and that may not be what should be happening for them.
Yes.
Giving folks that voice back.
Yeah, that's important. So how long have you guys agency been around, or the program's been around? So
the Wellness and Recovery Centers, and I think the agent 2007. So okay. I mean, it's been a while. They've been around for a while. They've been through some changes, because people change.
Yeah.
And so this is a member-driven program.
Nice.
We don't make policies and procedures and rules without consulting our members, because it's who it affects.
Yeah.
We're constantly asking them for feedback. Everything from, major kind of policy things, how we handle things in the center, to should we be getting rid of the vending machines?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're full of sugar.
Yeah.
And letting them have that voice. So
Yeah.
even when you give someone a voice on even a small topic,
Yeah.
it does help with that self-esteem, and helps them know that they have a voice. So I think the basis of this being that member-driven type of program elicits that from the beginning, because we're always asking them,
Yeah. That's awesome.
where's your voice? Where's your voice?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Are you guys services free to the public, or do it cost anything, or?
No, like I said earlier, we're completely funded by either county funds,
Okay.
mental health funds, through federal government grants, and mental health funds.
Okay.
We don't even ask for insurance. With regard to the wellness side,
Okay.
if somebody is interested in the clinical services, access to psychiatric services, here in Sacramento County, they do have to have Medi-Cal.
Okay. Okay. And I want to highlight that. So if someone is watching and they may have that question within themselves about if the service is free and stuff like that, then you guys can pretty much answer that and put it out there, so to speak. So have you guys ever heard of, do you guys do RAP there, Wellness Recovery Action Plan, at all?
We do,
Okay.
actually. Both Jill and I, have you done it more than once?
I've done it twice.
You've done
Okay.
it twice. So last summer, I sat with Jill and one of the other staff and another peer guide who were certified RAP facilitators.
Okay. Okay.
We both went to the training, and then that gave me the opportunity to do the RAP facilitator training, which I just did week before last.
How did you enjoy that?
I loved it, yeah.
Was it, so did you went through the 5-day?
Yeah, so
Okay.
now I'll be a certified
Fine.
RAP facilitator.
Okay, yeah.
So probably towards the end of the summer, we
Yeah.
will be doing a RAP training.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be the 6 or 8 week long training. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing that.
You're gonna love it. You're going
Yeah.
to love it because you're gonna be able to help so many people with their create a RAP, the daily maintenance plan,
Yeah.
just all that. You're gonna love
I'm
it.
already sneaking it into different groups,
Groups, yeah.
and it changes your language sometimes, how you say things, and
Yeah.
again, making that connection with members.
Yeah. One of the things I learned from RAP, just being a facilitator of a group at that time, was different things can trigger different people. It could be perfume, it could be a music, it could be a color, and just different things. And so I had to learn that, then just lead the group where they could understand that why, we're asking as a group not for anyone to wear perfume or cologne, and just and people was very receptive to it too. You know what I'm saying? So that was
Everyone
good.
wants a safe space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's good. So, one of the questions I was going to ask you was about the term consumer. So you annihilated that. I love it. But
It's just, are we eating the program?
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
we? I mean, that's consumer. Gosh, this industry has flip-flopped back and forth about what do you call your stakeholders.
I know. I know.
And consumers just has to be bottom of the barrel for me.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it really is a sort of hot discussion for a lot of different agencies and people in the field. I think a lot of people are trying to come up with a safe word where everybody can feel comfortable
Member.
and not offended. I like that word, actually. I do. I really do.
Client is, I don't know, a little too
Clinical,
technical,
yeah,
clinical sounding
yeah.
to me. Patient, I mean, that's not what we're about, so that wouldn't work. I don't even really like stakeholder, but at least it doesn't sound as, gosh, consumer to me just sounds, you're just consuming, consumption. It doesn't sound very positive to me.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound very uplifting. What would you
Yeah,
want to
what
be
do you
called,
think about
Jill?
that, Jill?
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a consumer either. I think that member that we use, I think it encompasses everybody, and I think it's again gives them a comfortable space to be in.
Yeah.
But just by being called a member, then they feel like they're part of a group or part of something.
And they have a choice.
Yes.
Because
Right.
usually when you're a member, you've become a member of a membership.
Right, you're part
there
of
was
something.
something that you did on your own accord.
Yeah.
So I think it rings to that as well.
How long has that word member been incorporated into you guys' program? I'm just curious.
I'm not quite sure. Well, how long have you guys? Because I've only been with them for about a year.
Okay.
And
I was with them before, and then 2 years, so it's been at least 2 years.
Okay.
at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, the industry, like I don't even know what name they're calling it today.
Okay. So
It goes back and forth.
So we have somebody from TLCS. I'm just gonna holler out to the crowd.
Okay.
And just this is gonna be organic. We never probably never done. What do you guys call your the people you serve at TLC?
Clubhouse members.
Member. Okay.
Awesome.
Core client.
Okay.
The residential residents.
Okay. So
And it
it's
should
different.
match
Yeah.
the service that
Right.
you're giving. So when you're doing a wellness and recovery type situation,
Yeah.
again, because it's not about diagnosis
Yeah.
or anything like that, I just can't imagine them calling them. I can't
Yeah.
imagine calling them anything else.
Yeah, yeah. Because I know at a lot of terminology we use at where I NorCal MHA, they use a lot of they definitely don't use the word client, but a lot of them use the word peer. You know,
yeah,
peer
of
support,
course.
peer
Peer.
support,
Of
peers and
course.
stuff. So. You know, that's another word terminology we use, but once again, it's I think it's different by agencies and what
We
people feel
use it
comfortable with.
fluidly as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I think in actual discussions when I'm reminding even peer guides or reminding other members what their empowerment is, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is peer to peer.
Yeah.
You and I can have this conversation. Myself and another mentor can have this conversation. It is peer to peer.
Yeah.
So we do use that word fluidly as well.
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about the volunteering. If somebody was interested in volunteering, how do they get involved with the work that you guys doing there?
So we usually open it up about twice a year,
Okay.
where we do have an interest application that any member can fill out and turn in.
Okay.
We just finished choosing some new folks because our open kind of time frame for new peer guides was in April.
Okay.
So we're getting a new batch of folks started for the summer. We usually like to see that those individuals have been involved in the center for at least a handful of months.
Okay.
Because that way we get to know them and they get to know
important.
us, and that they are still working on their own wellness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even staff, we still are working on our wellness. There's no end to that. So we like to see that they're active and participating in the services that we offer.
Yeah.
And they do somewhat go through a little bit of an interview process. You know, we want to make sure they understand the concepts of what a peer guide is.
Yeah.
And obviously the concepts and the mission of what the wellness centers are about.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty easy. We do a little background check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to make sure, again, ensuring that safe environment.
Yeah.
And then usually volunteers, their terms are about 6 months, but
really?
they always get a chance to renew those. That's why Jill has continued to be a peer guide.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
So it's kind of an easy process. It's just kind of being involved in the center, knowing what we're about. You're already involved and working on your own wellness, and you're at the point where you feel stable enough to give back to your peer community.
Okay. Okay. So, interesting. This is the first time that I've heard of volunteering being open to someone or agency that's twice a year. I do know that there are agency that has a time limit, so to speak, on volunteer opportunities as well. So okay. So you guys pretty much. So if I was interested in volunteering or anyone, you would prefer for them to come to the center and get involved
We
first.
want them to be familiar, like I said, with how things operate.
Okay.
You
good.
know, that way they understand the expectations.
That's good.
And we have a little orientation to make sure everyone understands what volunteerism is at the center.
Yeah.
And folks can do anywhere from just 3 hours a week all the way up to 9 hours a week.
Okay. Nice. Nice. So is 9 hours the max, the limit? That
Pretty
they
much, yeah.
Okay.
Because we don't want people to get too overloaded.
And burned out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's smart. So how do you guys normally recruit? Well, I guess I understand. You know, you get the people that's already there, but do you guys get people to volunteer that is not a part of the center initially, or that just kind of a standard rule, so to speak?
For the peer guides, it's generally going to be members that are involved in the services,
Okay.
but we do have partnership with Wise U
Okay, yeah, for NorCal. Okay,
right?
that's perfect.
For NorCal MHA. So if they have folks that are looking to satisfy their internship,
Yeah.
that would be a situation where someone can come and volunteer to complete their intern hours and not necessarily had already been a member.
Okay, see, okay, that's what I'm trying to get. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I know that you guys have another type of services. Well, this is South, but where people can come and wash their clothes and take showers.
We do it at the North as well.
That is, when I read that, I'm like, this is huge.
Yeah.
And so how often are they able to do this during the week?
So the South Center does it multiple days, and they do it for longer hours. They do serve a larger unsheltered population.
Okay.
So there is a bigger call for it at the South Center.
Okay.
We do it as well at the North. We do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we do it from the morning till about noon.
Okay.
We're limited. We only have one washer and one dryer.
Okay.
So we usually serve maybe about 4 people to do laundry, but we can sometimes get up to 6 or 8 people for showers.
That's awesome.
And
is
again,
awesome.
we have a smaller population of unsheltered folks, but they're all over our town,
Yeah.
regardless if you're in the nice part
Yeah.
or the not so nice part. So the fact that we have that on the north side of our town is, it's another resource for
Right.
those folks that wouldn't normally have that. There's some churches in the area that do it as well.
Okay.
But we're happy to just be part to serve that community.
So anybody can, for lack of better terms, if they need a shower, their clothes washed off the street, and they could just walk in. That's awesome.
We'll engage with them and give them the tour and encourage
Yeah.
them to become members.
Okay.
If someone really was adamant about not becoming a member, we would still provide the service.
That's awesome. So are you guys open for a donation for another washer and dryer, or is that kind of you guys limit at what you can?
Right now, that's all I've got room for.
Okay.
But any donations, give me a call.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I would love to see something like that grow for sure, because that helps a lot of people. Wow, you guys are doing a lot.
Yeah. It's a small little program, but we started it just last summer.
Okay.
One other peer guide who does it on Tuesdays, and Jill handles it on Thursdays.
Okay.
She's really embraced that program.
Yeah.
To get people in the door and make them, not feel that stigma.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we give soap and shampoo and toothbrushes and toothpaste, and we don't have a clothes closet, but sometimes when there's an emergent situation, we can sometimes help with clothes.
So, okay, that's good you brought that up. So if people had, clothes that they want to donate, you guys are open to take that as well?
Give me a call first.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The South Center has a clothing closet, so
That's good to
if
know.
I didn't have the need, we would either get the South Center, or there's a whole huge community of folks that do this kind of work.
Okay.
There's homeless navigators throughout all parts of this city.
Okay.
That if I couldn't take the clothes and you wanted to find a good place to donate those clothes, we would find it for you.
That's really good to know. That's yeah, because I can probably donate some stuff.
Right.
So, okay. So I want to talk a little bit about, because I know you guys have like a housing program where you assist. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that's important too.
So this is connected to our clinical side just a bit. We do have we have a housing mentor.
Okay.
She is our resource mentor. She has her finger on the pulse with regard to unsheltered folks in our community. What shelters are available, what room and
Yes.
boards are available, what sober living environments are available. Our program allows individuals that if they are also seeking psychiatric services, which a lot of our homeless populations suffer from that,
Yeah.
that they can kind of get a fast track to get into our program, rather than some of the wait times that Sacramento County Access you sometimes have to experience to get an authorization to start those kind of services. So we have an agreement with the county that if someone shows up on Tuesdays at 10:30, that's when the orientation is, that we can get things moving quite quickly for them.
Okay.
We are sometimes able to help assist financially with folks. if they are in need of housing or if they are in jeopardy of losing their housing.
Okay.
So it kind of is a case-by-case basis,
Yeah.
but there are some funds available to assist those folks. The orientation, again, is on Tuesdays at 10:30. It takes about an hour to get through the orientation, and then they see, which direction that person wants to go, and then they go from there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Sacramento has a definitely, well, let me say it like this. I think that there need to be more programs that is tailored to the homeless population. Because from what I see, even being out in the community, the group that I go in the grocery store or the cleaners, I'm running to somebody that's homeless, and it does seem like not all but some of them do have mental health challenges and stuff. And so my heart immediately goes out to them. You know what I'm saying? Not to have a stable place to stay, and then you don't have this mental health challenge, and it's just, so that's something I think that we as a community in Sacramento County, we need to be able to come up with something to address that. And I know there are programs like yours and several other programs that is, chiming in to do what they can do, but it's just a huge problem.
It's chase and tail a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the unsheltered population is just growing.
Yeah.
For various reasons.
Yeah.
Whether it's unable to afford rent or unable to work. Everyone's comes with a story.
Yeah.
But the number one thing I would say everyone who is unsheltered is experiencing is some form of trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those stressors.
Yeah.
Like you said, purely not having a roof over your head is such a huge stressor, and to be in dangerous situations being an unsheltered person, especially if you're a female and unsheltered. So there's traumas that come with that too.
Yeah.
So it's not only embracing the homeless population and the problems surrounding that, but again, understanding that common thread, that connection of this person has went through something.
Exactly.
This is not I woke up today and I've decided I'm homeless.
Yeah.
There are probably quite a few things that led to that person's situation.
Yeah. And the sad thing about this too, I worked at a place where our parking space was in the back of this huge lot, I'm saying lot, back of a lot. And the homeless population was very flooded, in that area. So in the parking lot when we came in the morning, you probably had about maybe one or two or three just in this particular area. And it bothered me so much that the staff people that I worked with, they would always call the police. They had no compassion for these people who did not have a place to stay. And sometimes it was obvious to see that, there was mental health challenges there, but they made it all about them, and that always bothered me, and it was just ongoing. It was ongoing. They was very rude to these people. They didn't have any compassion, and so finally I kind of talked to somebody about that. I'm not going to name the person. And the person was just as, in my opinion, heartless as they was, And they knew that, because they knew my background was mental health, and they knew that I was not in agreement of how they was treating these people, what they was doing. So what I would do is, there was a gas station literally like right next door from the building. I would go to the gas station, I would buy food, just chips or Gatorade or just sandwiches, and I would just give it out to them, just pay. I was always trying to be involved to let them know that there are people who do care, despite of what you see in this building, so I try in my own little way of just trying to helping them out and stuff like that. And they was so grateful, so grateful. But I wanted to kind of balance off the negativity they was getting from these staff members, but that really bothered me, really bothered me. So yeah, we got to band together as a community and do what we can do for the homeless population, so to speak. So what do you think we could do just as a individual outside of work to further the work that we're doing?
That's not an easy question.
Okay.
I think being strategic with the time that you volunteer,
Okay, that's perfect.
I think when you're deciding to make donations, being cognizant of what agencies you're donating them to and what do those agencies do with those donations.
Yeah.
Are those donations going back in to just fund that organization, or are they actually getting out to the people you're wanting to donate it for?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different agencies out there that, you know, you think, oh, I donated to this agency, I'm helping, and you find out that like a fraction of a percentage actually went to where you wanted it to go.
Oof.
So I think if someone in our community is thinking about volunteering, donating, do a little research.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
a little research.
Yeah.
Talk to other people who have volunteered.
Yeah.
People will tell you the good experiences they've had and the not so good experiences.
Yeah.
Because there's real genuine people out there that want to help, and then there's some folks that aren't as genuine.
Yeah.
And so if your heart's in the right place and you don't want to get jaded,
Yeah.
you know, do a little research about how
Yeah.
you're going to spend your volunteering and where your donations are going.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think?
What do you think, Jill?
Yes, definitely. There's a lot, unfortunately, there are a lot of places that you donate that it doesn't go back to the people that it should go back to, definitely. And doing the research, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you think, like you said, you think you're doing good, and it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah. You struck a chord when you said that in particular, because I'm actually from Chicago, Illinois. And before I moved here, I was working at a place, which I won't name, that, so before I started working at this place, I had one of my mentors working there. And he was trying his best to stop me from getting a job there, but that's something I was passionate about doing at the time. But he never told me what was going on, you know, but I respected him for that. And he tried, he said, well, Jesse, you do not, just look for something else. And I'm like, I want to work there. So when I got in there, one of the things that was presented to me by HR was, what we do is we ask all the employees to have a percentage taken out of their check to donate into the agency, so to speak, And I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I was very upfront, very direct about it, because I wanted to know what I was getting myself into, number one. And for my mentor to try to stop me or persuade me not to, get employative, that was a red flag for me. But it was something that I really enjoyed doing and wanted to do. And she kept trying, and then the owner was like a bully. The staff member walked on eggshells and stuff like that, and I was the totally opposite. I was who I was, outgoing, speaking, and they couldn't understand, like, well, don't say no, he's upset and blah blah blah. And so I noticed that all these donations was coming in and just all this stuff, and I remember him calling my boss at the time into his office, and he wanted to know, because there was two of us in my department who was not getting a percentage taken out of their check to donate back into the agency, and he wanted to know why. And so she had called us in her office one by one, and when she called me in the office, I explained to her, I'm like, well, I don't feel led to donate anything here, and I didn't really kind of go into detail, but she knew I knew what was up. She knew I knew, and I just, so from that experience alone, is where I do my research, and I'm very conscious about where I would donate my money and time to from that experience alone.
It goes back to that education piece I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Get familiar with the program that you're interested in volunteering.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is their mission statement?
Yeah.
Why do they even exist?
Yeah.
What do they call the people they serve?
Yeah.
Do they say consumers? Let's have a conversation. Not that anyone that calls their folks consumers aren't great agencies, but those are the things that, if you're going to give of your heart and your soul, you want it to go as far as you can. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I know being in the field, just working with different agencies, I've really collaborated with and worked with some very ethical agencies. I was fortunate enough to in 2013 I got hired at NorCal MHA and stuff, and it was a very good experience for me. I learned a lot, a whole lot. That's where I feel like I really gained a lot of my education and knowledge about this whole field, because they was very tenacious about doing the work and getting the word out and breaking down the walls of stigma and different things like that. How like you guys are, and many other agencies out there too. So it is important that we continue on. The reason why I asked you outside of work, because what I've learned is the work don't stop when we're off our 9 to 5. It do not stop there. I've had friends who who has challenges, deals with depression, anxiety, and things like that, and I find myself giving out resources. One of my friends, he self-medicate. He self-medicate to dull the depression and anxiety, and and so I find myself really trying to help him out in different ways as I can and stuff like that. So that's why I posed that question, because a lot of times it's not just work, paid work. It's
most of the people that work, whether it's substance abuse or mental health, we're not doing this for the money. We're doing this because it's in our hearts.
That's exactly right.
The folks that are, just here for a job, those are the folks that usually don't hang out very long.
That's exactly right.
Part of my wellness is giving back.
That's
Whether I'm clocked in or I'm clocked out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do have to have that separation.
Yeah.
Self-care.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to practice that.
Yeah.
Not only do we sometimes hear some really challenging things from our members, and then what do I do with that information?
Yeah.
How do I take care of my own self after I've experienced that?
Yeah.
Talking with a peer. I've always told anyone I've ever worked with, I love each and every one of you with all my heart. But when I walk out the door at the end of the day, I leave you here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to have that separation. But you're right, the work doesn't end. I don't shut my compassion off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So interacting with friends and family, it comes back. It's part of who I am.
That's what I mean.
It's part of who I am. I mean, I'm not faking it.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all would figure that out real quick if I was faking it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I don't look at it as work. It's just part of my makeup.
Right. Right.
It's who I am, and it's just great that there's agencies out there where I can offer those skills to help other people.
Yeah, I like how you said a key thing to being able to take care of yourself in the process, because if you're not at your best, you can't give somebody something you don't have in so many words. So that's key too. I think the point I was trying to make is, with me, I'm learning that, a lot of stuff that I've learned here at NorCal and just being here, I'm finding family members or friends needing that same support, that who has no clue the resources and the help that's out there for them.
No.
So for somebody like me, it's just pointing the way, just giving the resource, so you can go here, you can go there. Even like the stuff that you guys share with me today, I can almost assure you that somebody that I know is gonna get this as a resource.
Good.
For
I'm
sure.
glad.
And so for me, that's just what it's all about. What's all about. So yeah. Do you guys feel like we as mental health, I'm gonna say professionals, not clinicians, but that's the term I chose to use, or people, we as people who's working in the mental health field, do you feel like we're kind of making headway in the work that we're doing overall?
The stigma's still there. The stigma's still going to be there for quite a while, but do I think we're turning a corner? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think people are getting a bit more comfortable talking about it.
Okay.
Just the word trauma, now that's a buzzword.
Okay.
When you would say the word trauma 10 years ago, people thought, oh, you were in a car accident.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So it's like able to say that word out loud.
Okay.
I think those are indications that things are hopefully changing in the right direction as far as that stigma is concerned. It's still a huge fight.
Okay.
It's still a huge fight. But I think again, programs like this, having conversations with your family and your friends candidly about mental health challenges,
Yeah.
whether they're minor or they're huge. That's when you start to create more safe space and people get more comfortable. And hopefully people who are suffering, you know, I'm not the only one.
Right, exactly.
There is someone out there like me.
Exactly.
So I feel like those changes are starting
Okay.
to happen.
Okay. So do you guys have, like on your website, do you guys have like a list of all the groups? Okay, that's good.
Our calendar is updated both for the north site and the south site every month. So they're
Okay.
up on Facebook and the website.
Okay, so anybody can go on the website and just kind of see what groups and what time. And some of these groups offer after hours or all of them? You
All
said?
day. I mean,
Okay.
they're spread out throughout the week.
Okay.
Like I said, we open at 9. We close at 8:45 Monday through Friday. Saturdays we're open 9 to 5.
Oh, you guys open on Saturdays too? Wow.
Yep. So that's another huge, you know, to be open on the weekends. So, like I said, I don't believe that there's a group that doesn't speak to somebody.
Okay. Wow. That's interesting. And we're running out of time. So I want to one quick question. Do you guys experience being there? Have you seen or heard of any good success stories coming out of what you're doing there?
Success stories?
Just like just positive changes.
I
Sure.
believe
Yeah.
Jill's in the
Okay.
midst of it.
Okay.
We have folks that came to us as members that sat in the corner, were very shy and didn't want to engage and interact with anybody.
Okay.
And then you slowly see them come out of their shell and they start to talk with other folks. And then they decide to volunteer, and then they start volunteering and they get more of that self-esteem and confidence. And then lo and behold, they'll eventually become a mentor and actual staff. So
Okay.
we get to see successes. I want to say successes happen almost every day
Okay.
in some form or fashion.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we're running out of time,
Okay.
and that's it for today's edition of Mental Health Matters. If you enjoyed this particular program, or if you would like a copy of this particular program on a DVD, or if you would like to be a guest on our show, please dial 916-366-4600. Thank you.